WWE's top stars will be part of Clash of the Castle, WWE's premium live event in Cardiff. Gene Munny is heading to Super Strong Style 16 as Jonathan Gresham stripped of the Progress World Championship. Rev Pro UK will be celebrating their 10th anniversary with two shows at York Hall. AEW Star Jamie Hayter has been announced for Pro Wrestling Eve She-1. Drew Parker returns to TNT Extreme and will be going off big time. The British Invasion, Nick Aldis and Doug Williams will be part of 1PW's New Twist of Fate. The former Authors of Pain have started their own promotion, World Entertainment Series in Nottingham. And finally, Jonathan Gresham and Axel Tischer are set to face off once again at WXW's Broken Rules in a rematch of the 16 Carat Gold final. Hello and welcome. We are TNT, the Great British Wrestling podcast for Great British Wrestling, as featured on bodyslam.net, brought to you by Powered 4 TV. I am the host, the Great British Taku, Mr. Andrew Winding to most. That right there is Big Daddy Dan, Mr. Daniel Allen, just Dan for short. Sorry, and still Councillor of the North Hearts Grange, Councillor Daniel Allen. I do apologise.
I enjoyed having that for 2 weeks in a row. It makes me feel special. I like feeling special. Oh, and I felt very special because I went to a show this week. I won tickets to Sacrifice Pro in Bedford. And I took the tribal chief of the Big Fat Geeks, Mr. Stephen Southern, with me. And we had a very enjoyable over-18s wrestling show that we went to. And we got to see the wrestlers there. We got to see some wrestlers that were there just enjoying the evening as well, which was great fun. Big shout out to Tommy Kyle, who was there and came over for a chat. Lovely, lovely man. Mia Cortez, the Queen of Dragons, was there enjoying herself. And Warren Banks was there enjoying himself. So it's a good following that Sacrifice Pro have.
Yeah, it's fantastic. They've got some great talent on their roster. And obviously, Jonas was there as well, of course.
Yes, he was.
I just joined in yesterday, of course, to do the Wrestle Carnival preview for the upcoming The Hunt, where Charles Crowley will be facing Max the Impaler. Should be a great show, and had great fun chatting with Jonas with that. Unfortunately, Mr. Councillor there could not make it. He was busy earning his dollar.
I was indeed. I had a last minute disco come up. Somebody cancelled, and I got a phone call saying, "Would you be able to do a disco tonight?" Yes, I can.
As I say, we got huge amounts of news. We've got updates for you on how Chris Brooks and Chris Ridgway have been doing over in Japan, and how Francisco Akira is getting on in the Best of Super Juniors. He may not be a Brit, but he's a European, so we'll support him in this Boss J tournament. I do know he picked up the win, and we'll be talking about that just a little while. Sorry.
And one that you didn't mention that we'll be talking about as well is Rio.
Oh, of course, Rio. Yes, some absolutely phenomenal news come up for Rio. I'm super stoked for her. We'll get on to that. We've got previews, we've got one review, we've got plenty of European news, we've got new promotions up and down the country, and we're going to be talking a lot about that type of thing, so I guess. But before we kick off, because we made a joke about it last week. We talked about how death matches should always be confined to over 18 and of appropriate shows. Now, the reason we didn't talk about the news last week is we just didn't have the full details, and we're not going to go into something that we do not have the full details on. We do now have the full details on this. So to prove that we're not just toxic positivity on this channel, we're going to talk about the shit show that was a goddamn death match at a family-friendly show. It is not acceptable.
And it wasn't just any death match. It wasn't just like a basic, we've got some thumbtacks or a bit of barbed wire. This was someone using a strimmer, an actual strimmer on another human being, which, as we've seen before in America, can really, truly fuck you up badly.
A goddamn weed whacker. And then it's oh my God. And every every major press organization in the UK. They picked this up.
And by major press organisation, we're talking the BBC, we're talking the Sun. We are talking sort of every big news company. Even the Times had it.
Yeah, and I'm all for British wrestling being covered by British media, but this isn't what we needed.
No, and this isn't even true British wrestling. This is just it was a very poorly thought out thing. And what's even worse, the company that did this, who I think we're going to name them, aren't we?
Name them. Yes, go ahead.
CCW.
They've been named in the other presses, so it's
defended this, saying that people enjoyed it.
Yeah.
As opposed to the photos of people in tears watching it, which have been doing the rounds on social media, which is a bit different from enjoying it.
Of course, this is brought to light by a Northeast wrestler, Benji, who called the promotion out as soon as he saw images and photos and videos. And it's not the sort of thing that he would like to share. And he did so. And fair play to Benji for that. And it really just stresses this need. I mean, it's annoying because you can't just say, well, take his license away. What license? He doesn't need a license to run a show.
There is nothing wrong with deathmatch wrestling done properly, in an over 18s environment, in a safe environment. TNT do deathmatch wrestling properly. They make sure that anyone in the front row has goggles. They do things absolutely organised.
They've got barriers.
They've got first aid.
They've got people on site. It really, really bugs me that there's a promotions out there that run like this. And I'm sure the CCW are not the only ones.
No,
I'm sure they are the but you know what? They are the definition, and I don't like to use this word because of who came up with this phrase, but they are definition of a mud show wrestling promotion.
And now the police are investigating.
Yeah, that's brilliant. That's all we need. Again, and like I say, but what can they do? They can't pull his license. There is no license. There should be a license. Promoters should have to get a license from a governing body. We need this sooner rather than later. We need promoters to come together, 4 or 5 of you. Doesn't matter how long you've been in the business. All it's going to take is 5 of you to come together and start it.
And more will follow.
More will follow.
It's been proven by the introduction of the safeguarding rules that people can work together and things can be done. Let's keep the momentum going. Let's step away from this absolute shit show, as it was pointed out, and let's move this and take the positivity of working together and talking together and going on from that.
You may be independent wrestling promotions, but you are still promoting professional wrestling. Be professional.
And 99.99% of them are.
Oh, yeah, they are. Then they are. And you know what? Who are a really great company? Sacrifice Pro Wrestling. Please tell me about that fantastic show. You saw a Sacrifice Pro Wrestling before I call both of these guys by name the idiots that they are.
You know what was brilliant about Sacrifice Pro Wrestling? It was an over 18 show. There was no blood and guts. There was some adult entertainment, which we shall get to. We started off.
I did see a nice clip of. We got that clip. We need to ask him if we can use it. Maybe can we please
I'll
spread it in here, right here, just that clip.
Kai Payne beats Adonis Payne in the first match, and it was a winner keeps the name Payne, which means Adonis is no longer Adonis Payne. Now, is this only for the over 18 shows? Is it only at Sacrifice? We shall see. But Adonis Payne, you put on an absolutely brilliant match with Kai Payne. 2 young guys that really put themselves out there. They did exactly what you needed in a first wrestling match. They showed some brilliant technical holds. It was a good match. Go out of your way to look at both of their matches on YouTube. You can find different Kai Payne and Adonis Payne matches. Well worth watching. We then had Pro Wrestling Memes versus Kent Mason. Kent was hugely over, and unfortunately was all over the floor after being kicked in the gentleman's area by Memes, and Memes got the 1, 2, 3. We then had Act 2, who I believe you've seen before, Jack Knudsen and
Benjamin Harland,
versus Truman Roswell and Kyle Kingsley.
I really want to see Roswell in action live.
You should do. It was great. Well, Roswell and Kingsley are currently fighting for the Sacrifice Pro Wrestling Championship, so this was an odd couple matchup. Act 2 won after they couldn't exist together, and Act 2 were brilliant. Knudsen is hysterical, especially because he looks like he's about 7 stone soaking wet up against Kyle Kingsley, who looks like he's about 18 stone.
Really like that. I like it because the natural tag team won. So many times we see oddball and they always beat the established tag team, and it's terrible booking. And so I applaud Sacrifice Pro for good booking.
Movie prop match was next. A death match where you could use any props from movies. And this was Hustle Malone versus CJ Carter, but it wasn't just any Hustle Malone. This was Darth Malone. He came out with half Darth Maul face paint, which got the chant of half price gold dust going.
Getting ready for his Disney Plus death match with Wrestle Island, which is not a proper death match for those out there. It's a family friendly. He's regretted putting that name on it now.
This was absolutely brilliant. It was a good start for that because they did involve a lot of the Disney Plus stuff. They started off with a brilliant lightsaber match. CJ Carter got in some of his great high-flying moves. And then all of a sudden, CJ Carter put on a pair of black sunglasses and pulled out a very bright light. And Men in Blacked Hustle Malone and advised him that he was in there and he was a professional wrestler and he was wrestling Nick, the referee. And CJ Carter grabbed a referee shirt and put it on. So they had the referee versus Hustle Malone, which was very, very funny. And unfortunately, CJ Carter got hit in the privates by Malone, who then retaliated by hitting Malone in the dick, who fell backwards and hit the referee in the dick. So we had a triple dick shot with all three of them lying down on the floor, which was hysterical and got the chant of no more babies. It was very, very funny and very well done. In the end, CJ Carter won. It was one of the most entertaining matches I have seen in a very, very long time. It was what sports entertainment should be. It was hysterical. It was fun. You were able to chant rudely along without being horrible. You see, this was another thing about the Sacrifice Pro crowd. The chants were adult in nature, but were polite. They weren't aggressive to anybody. And they weren't putting anybody down either. It was just great fun. We then had a tag team tornado match. Los Palominos, Danny Mayhem in their corner, versus Reckless Old Youth, Tim Lee and Jack Hope. Tim Lee could end up becoming one of my favourite wrestlers. Tim Lee,
the king of comedy strong style,
is brilliant. Now, this match, this was the adult match. Los Palminos came out looking. Do you remember when Shawn Michaels came to the ring to do an interview with Jim Ross and had socks down his shorts? Yes. Well, that's what Palminos looked like. This is interesting. They had large aubergines because this was the aubergine emoji show. And unfortunately, there had been a little bit of confusion. And Jack Hope, while thinking this was, he brought out what the aubergine emoji actually represents, a sex toy, which ended up stuck on the ring post. Which ended up being used in a couple of different ways during the show. It was amazing how supple throat Jack Hope has. There were again very large number of amusing comments about who this had been stolen from and whose mother it belonged to. It's worth going online and looking up Sacrifice's social media to see some of the things that were done in this match. It is very, very amusing, and I highly recommend it. We then had the only match that possibly was a little bit slower, a little bit less exciting, which was Alexander Hyde versus David Grant. It was big men slapping meat, but it sort of brought everything down a little bit before our main event. And our main event was BDSM, the big, dangerous, scary mammals of Clementine and Mr. Charles Crowley versus the 8-7, represented by Alexander Roth and big wavy Roy Johnson, who is looking amazing. He's down to something ridiculous like 3% body fat. So the BDSM match was a safe word match. The safe words were, for the 8-7, Roy wants carbs, because it had to be something that you wouldn't normally say. For BDSM, me so horny. I think that's something they probably would say. And for the referee, because it's quite important, Peggy Mitchell, which got the entire crowd singing the EastEnders theme tune, which went down very, very well. BDSM brought a box of toys to the ring, including some wrist supports, which could have been quite useful, although they were sort of chained together, the wrist supports, so they might not have been that useful. They bought a hairbrush, which was lots of strands of leather on a handle to sort of like pull back over the hair. You can see where this is going, really. Absolutely brilliant match. The Cat of Nine Tails was used on, the hairbrush, sorry, was used on Mr. Charles Crowley, who seemed to thoroughly not enjoy it at all, judging by the smiles. They were called horny perv dogs quite a lot by the crowd as well. And then at the end, BDSM bought out loads of crisps. They ran over to the bar and got crisps that smelt amazing and obviously are very high in carbs. And they kept putting them in front of Roy and trying to get him to eat them. And in the end, Roy wants carbs was said, and BDSM won the match.
This is why you tune in to TNT, a Great British Wrestling podcast, because we bring you sex toys, weed whackers, and all things British wrestling.
Oh, yes. Sacrifice, you do a brilliant over 18 show. Thank you very much. It was great. We will definitely be back. They've got their next show coming up, their anniversary show. I will put the date on social media very soon. And overall, I would give this show 4 sugars because Stephen and I laughed our asses off, had a great time, and also got the best bit of wrestling merch ever. Did you see?
Oh, I saw the key ring,
little key ring that is the rope tensioners. Awesome. And it was only £1.
That's
Should we do some other news now?
Why not? Let's, as I say, I was about to say, you see this? Sacrifice, you put a smile on my face. I wasn't there. And it's all good now. Let's talk about some Great British Wrestling.
Well, let's start off with some American wrestling.
Okay, yeah, well, it's still British.
WWE's Clash at the Castle. Well, WWE's top stars will be part of the premium live event in Cardiff, including Roman Reigns, Drew McIntyre, Edge, Cody Rhodes, Bianca Belair, and Becky Lynch, all confirmed for September the 3rd at the Principality Stadium in Cardiff.
Yeah, it definitely looks like it's going to be Drew McIntyre versus, I remember reading some, I can't remember, Cultaholic. I think they got it from Mr. Meltzer, Wrestling Observer, and it does definitely look like it's going to be Drew McIntyre versus Tyson Fury.
That would make sense because I'm not sure if Roman Reigns will still be with the company at that point. He might well be off doing some filming.
Who knows? It could be a great way to give him a big win en route to dethroning Roman Reigns.
Yeah, that's true.
Got to build him. Got to He's lagging at the moment. He needs a couple of things to make him.
I've got to admit, he's no longer the person I think is going to dethrone Roman Reigns.
No,
I think it will be the American Nightmare.
Ooh, Mr. Cody Rhodes.
Yeah.
That's a good guess. It's a good guess indeed.
Let's talk about proper British wrestling.
Yeah, Progress Wrestling.
I'm so happy.
Yeah, huge news coming out of Progress Wrestling. Literally today, as you know, the show went a couple of hours ago. We've been sent the match report by the guys over at Progress. We thank you so much for that. But Gene Munny, that damn dirty dog that he is going to Super Strong Style 16. And Jonathan Gresham has been stripped of the World Championship.
I mean, all in all, 2 bits of good news in one match.
Yes. So there was a pre-match assault on Gene Munny, which led to Progress Management saying that if Lycos Jim or Jonathan Gresham get themselves disqualified, then obviously Gene Munny would go through and Jonathan Gresham would lose the Progress World Championship. Now, I wonder if this was always the plan going into things, because I have something in my mind, in my naughty little dirty dog of a mind. I have something that I think.
I thought I could hear some rattling.
I think so. I think Gene Munny is screwing Warren Banks.
Do you?
I think so.
Oh, I can see where you're going there.
Bad boy Jim. Lycos Jim and Gene Munny.
I think that could be entertaining, but I don't know. I can understand that Gresham is probably going to be rather busy, having seen the wonderful, I say with my tongue firmly in my cheek, Ring of Honor logo that's been done.
Yeah, he has signed with AEW. So, I mean, I saw a few people, well, why did they, when the match and everything was put in place and plans or whatever they had were put in place, this was all pre-can't buy-in ROH. So you can't really put this on as like, oh, it's just bad booking. It's not particularly great booking, but they have trapped themselves.
There is nothing wrong with the booking. There is absolutely nothing.
I would have had Banks take the title.
Yeah, well, I can understand that. The issue is, if you're Jonathan Gresham and you have the opportunity to wrestle close to home, like not having to fly out constantly. I know that he loves coming out, and we love having you here, Jonathan. But if you're going to get a good money contract close to home, we respect that.
Yeah, I think 100%. I'm not saying anything against Gresham either. It's Gresham, Gresham's doing what's best for business for himself. He's. But as I said, I don't think, when plans were first put in place, obviously they had no idea. ROH was in the mix of who knows what was going to happen. It was
they were going to be bought by Tony Khan and have a new logo done on Windows Paint.
Yeah. My originally, I thought that's exactly how it's going to go. It's going to be Banks's Noir will drop it to Gresham, and then Gresham will drop it to Banks. I was wrong. Obviously, he did not drop the belts to Banks. Unfortunately, he screwed, but with the help of Lycos Jim. But now Lycos Jim has screwed him. They did it on purpose.
But I'll tell you what you were right about. Maggots. We were both right about Maggot. So, Maggot has qualified for the Super Strong 16 because there was an amazing match to get him there, wasn't there?
The fatal four-way, Maggot, Jörn Simmons, Axel, Tischer, and Bobby Guns. I really, really want to see how the crowd reacted to this match. I really wanted to see how the fans in particular take to Maggot, who's, literally got the German fans in the palm of his hands right now. And it's his swagger, his attitude. And I'm sure the British fans would absolutely take to him. Congratulations to Maggot. I'd love to have Maggot on the show. I'd love to speak to him about this because he's having a stellar year this year. It was his first time ever in the 16 Carat tournament. He got past the first round, eliminated in the second round, but still first time entering that's first time now entering Super Strong Style 16. He won his first singles title with WXW Germany. He became the WXW Shotgun Champion. He's been doing a great job being the Shotgun Champion at the moment. There's a fantastic match coming up when we talk about WXW in more detail in the European news. It's an awesome match coming up for Mega, and I'm really excited for that. But before that, of course, he was a three-time WXW Tag Team Champion alongside Prince Ahura as the Pretty Bastards. So congrats, Maggot. Congrats, Gene Munny.
And also congrats, Robbie X, because Robbie X has been entered into Super Strong Style 16, as has the Mexican luchador, Aramis.
Now Robbie X, obviously I know about Robbie X. I can tell you about him. It's been a while since he's been in Progress. Last time he was in Progress was in a Natural Progression series. I couldn't tell you exactly which one off the top of my head, but it has been a long time since Robbie X has graced the Progress ring. So that's hugely exciting.
Well overdue.
Amaris, he is a 23-year-old luchador coming out of Mexico, obviously. Despite being 23, he's already seemingly got 12 years of worth of experience. He performed for AAA very recently, Warrior Wrestling, PWG, and MLW. So there's pedigree to him. I may not know who he is, but there's definitely pedigree there to him, and look forward to it. Good to see some international talent. I'm trying to work out how many numbers we've got now. We're at 10.
I think we're at least 10, yeah.
I mean, we must be at 10. Let's
It's an awesome mask.
Gene Munny, Maggot, Amaris, and Robbie X.
Damo.
Big Damo, Warren Banks, one of the CPF, Kid Lycos, Chris Ridgway. No, I'm missing somebody. Swerve, did I say Swerve yet?
You didn't say Swerve, no.
Swerve, 10. So, yeah.
However,
so
we've got to be careful because we do get called out when we get numbers wrong, don't we?
We do.
And we're happy to be called out when we get numbers wrong because we're not perfect and we don't claim to be. We do make mistakes. Never. We will mention that in a few minutes. But first, let's mention the fact that in the Progress upcoming shows, there will be a triple threat ladder match for the Progress Tag Team titles after Sunshine Machine and the Smoking Aces fought to a draw, which means we will have Sunshine Machine and the Smoking Aces versus the incredible Mr. Dan Maloney and the fantastic, amazing, brilliant help, awesome help,
Man Like the Race.
Thank you.
And they came out and they also seemingly have taken Leon Slater under their wing. After his match with RKJ, because of course RKJ made his debut, picking up the win over the 17-year-old sensation Leon Slater. Because Leon Slater has been tag teaming with Man Like the Reese for North Wrestling. I'm not sure if they picked up the win to go into the tag team championship finals for North. Again, North was on just last night, and we will be talking about some of that because it's absolutely fantastic news from some of the North faithful. And then Cara Noir, Spike Trevay. It ended in a double DQ after both of them got physical with the referee. Whoa. And now Spike Trevay has challenged Cara Noir to an I Quit match where the loser leaves town. So
that's a biggie.
Big question then. Putting you on the spot. Who's leaving town?
Cara.
Yeah, my money's probably on Cara too. I know he's got some WXW bookings coming up, one of which we'll be talking about in just a little while. And I'm trying to think of where I'm sure Pro Wrestling Noah. I think they would love Cara Noir and Cara. They've been a lot of the Japanese promotions have been bringing over a lot of international stars now, and I'd say Cara Noir to Progress would be brilliant. You think you're going to go the other way? You think you're going to stay in the UK, and you think he's going to don the yellow and gold?
I think that at the moment NXT UK are needing to bring in fresh blood, and I think that after the match on the network with Spike Trivet, Cara's got to be very high on their list.
I think that Ilya Dragunov was a test match.
I think match. They've just lost Devlin, which we'll talk about in a bit. They've lost Pretty Deadly. I can't imagine Dragunov, bearing in mind he's now on the 2K22 roster for the game. He's going to be there much longer. I think they need another main event star to come in. And
Nathan Fraser's moved on, and A-Kid is up in the air. I'm not quite sure if he has moved on or not now.
He's a tweener.
He's a tweener. He's jumping back and forth, but no. I definitely think NXT UK could have him.
And I reckon he could have anybody in NXT UK.
Yeah, I think he would make an excellent. I just wonder how far he would go on from there. Could he go on to NXT, and can he go on to the main roster? Yeah. Can he keep that gimmick?
No. He can go onto the main roster with that gimmick, but it wouldn't last.
I don't know. You've got guys like The Undertaker, Braze in the past. I think he could.
I think he'd hold it for a while, but I don't think he could hold it for long term.
Look Americans out there, let us know what you think of Cara Noir. We would love to hear from American fans who have possibly seen or watched Progress and other shows. Tell us what you think of Cara Noir. We'd really love to get an American's point of view on what they think of Cara Noir and whether they think that would work.
I think they could bring out the Black Swan in the same way that Finn Balor brought out the Demon.
Be interested.
But that's just me. Yeah. Anyway, let's go on to the next show. Let's go on to Rev Pro.
Yeah, let's go on to another one of the big promotions in the UK right now. Rev Pro UK, absolutely killing it week after week. They're celebrating their 10th anniversary.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to them. Well, not quite yet, but on the 20th and the 21st of August, they will be holding 2 shows at York Hall to celebrate this.
What is it with everyone having these multi-shows? I mean, I'm aiming to go to 2 of them. It's money. It's all the money.
Got the GCW show, of course. Got the Super Strong Style 16. I'm already. I've got my things booked. We'll talk about the rest of that off screen because I know
Pro Wrestling Eve. You've got the 2 show as well.
Yeah, I've thought about that as well. More news for Rev Pro UK. Lycos Gym and the Velocities. The Australian team, the Velocities and Lycos Gym, as well as the Smoking Aces versus Aussie Open, will kick off this year's Great British Tag League on the 28th of May in Stevenage. Plus, Ninja Mac versus Robbie X.
It's going to be amazing.
And you can bet on Mac. Always bet on Mac. Bet on that and want to make a bet. That's all of Ninja Max. I absolutely love Ninja Mac. It's going to be an absolutely insane match. Him versus Robbie X.
It's typical that this show is right on my doorstep and I'm going to be in Kent that weekend.
Yeah, I remember you saying you were already DJing because even before these matches were announced, I was like, it's Rev Pro UK on your doorstep. Why didn't you go in? And you were like, because I'm DJing. But, you know.
DJing down in Kent. I DJ all over the place.
Got to hustle. Got to make that money.
Hey, bloody men, because we'll talk about that off screen as well. My car went bang.
Oh, no.
Yay!
Yes.
Also, recently announced the return of the Rev Pro UK Queen of the Ring tournament that will be taking place on the 9th of July in Huntingdon, which is also quite close to me.
Yeah, because we actually attended the last Queen of the Ring finals in Huntingdon. It was our first matches back. I know not for you, but it was the first show back for me when wrestling returned. It was a fantastic show. Zoe Lucas as the Queen of Rev Pro UK. I'm crossing all my fingers that she could possibly make an appearance, but people who obviously follow the scene of fully aware, and I shouldn't go into too much more details other than that. I just hope one point, because she's an amazing competitor. Her and Mariah May as the Dream Dolls were just insanely good. And as I say, her tantrum when she won the Queen of the Ring and the fans just kept booing, it was just so good. Just to I can't say it enough. Amazing.
Now, what I will say is our next story is about Pro Wrestling Eve, and I would like to apologise to Pro Wrestling Eve. I can't count. We mentioned that there were 11 women going into the She One. We mentioned 11 of the women going to the She One. There were 12. They have one they haven't announced, and they have now announced her. And oh my Lord, what an announcement! It is AEW Star Jamie Hayter, who is going to be taking part in the She One tournament on June the 18th and 19th. Let's get the numbers right. 12 women, 4 shows, 3 blocks, 2 days, 1 winner. And who else is going to be taking part in this amazing tournament, Andy?
Well, you've got Japanese superstar Venny, Rhea O'Reilly, Sky Smithson, Laura DiMatteo, Jetta, Rio, Emerson Jane, Casey, Alex Windsor, Takumi Iroha, and Charlie Morgan. We've got 2 former winners in the tournament. Both Charlie Morgan and AEW star Jamie Hayter are previous winners. So if you got the numbers there, so they are 4 blocks of 4, 3 blocks of 4. Did it straight away. 3 blocks of floor. And then they'll compete over 3 shows. Whoever tops the blocks will go through to a triple threat final. Now, last week we actually picked 2 competitors each who we thought possibly had chances of winning. So now it's going to come down to, I'm going to ask you to pick 3 people who you believe will make the final, as well as your final pick.
Okay, I'm going to go with my original 2, Casey, Mother of Chaos. Laura DiMatteo. And I'm going to go Venny. And my overall winner for the entire thing, and I'm going to put my money where my mouth is here, Laura DiMatteo.
Okay. My 3, I am going with one of my originals, which was Alex Windsor.
Mm-hmm.
And I am putting in the finals with her, Jamie Hayter, and Takumi Iroha. And I'm saying Alex Windsor will win.
I think it's a good call. I don't think it's the right one, but I think it's a good call.
I was literally heads or tails between Alex Windsor and Casey. Literally, I'm like, it's one of those 2. Which one is it gonna? I know I'm going with Windsor. She's having a phenomenal comeback, if you like, since her return to wrestling. She's been absolutely incredible, winning championships all over the place. Rev Pro UK, Wrestle Carnival, phenomenal competitor, banging matches. Yeah, for me,
brilliant
talent. Yeah,
brilliant talent. Talking of brilliant talents, TNT Extreme. 3 years. Yeah. No, you go for it, mate.
No. I know you love your death matches, so
I do.
He is your boy. He is the Urchin Prince. Tell him about it.
3 years in the making. The prodigal son returns. Mr. Drew Parker will be at Going Off big time. Now, this is a big one. Drew Parker has been absolutely owning it in Japan. He has been loved universally, which is an interesting thing for a deathmatch specialist.
A two-time BJW, Big Japan Wrestling, deathmatch heavyweight champion. He recently relinquished the title after making a successful defense of it. He relinquished the title. He is likely on his way to the States, where you'll see him very much in the GCW picture. But I do expect him to be making tours here and there back. Do you think he'll be part of Super Strong Style 16? It's only a week before.
Interesting. I think it would be a really good thing for him to show his fantastic and extensive wrestling skills. And not the fact that he is just known for the death matches. He can go in the ring. So, yeah, well, I think that could be interesting. I guess it's a possibility. It's not one I thought of.
It came to when we did the list a little while ago. We were talking about names, and Drew Parker's name was in the back of my head, but I chose Chris Brooks because he just had that bit more recognizable name to the British audience, and maybe a bit more mainstream. But of course, Drew Parker would be a fantastic name, and all power to him. Of course, going off big time is on the 9th of June. It is in Liverpool at the Fusion Bar.
Plus, the Liverbirds will defend the TNT Extreme Women's Championship against the Uprising, Sky Smithson and Nightshade. And man like DeReese will challenge Mark Haskins in what will be a fantastic match. Tickets are now on sale for Reign of Fire, as well as the GCW and TNT Extreme Weekend tickets. They are £75 for a regular ticket for the 3 days and £120 for the VIP ticket for 3 days. And let's be honest here. If you're going to go to a TNT show, you know that when they do a VIP package, they mean VIP. You will get stuff that you will not get at any other show when you get a VIP ticket with TNT.
You will get to meet NWA Tag Team Champions La Rebellion, who will be part of the meet and greet before the show and part of the VIP package. So yeah, don't miss your chances to get a photograph with them guys. And I'm sure Drew will be on that list as well. I'm sure they'll want to have Drew there, and I'm sure every fan will be knocking at the door to get back to Drew Parker.
And also, without wanting to blow smoke up TNT's backside, I want to say well done to TNT Extreme, because they want to thank everyone who supported them in 2020 when they originally announced TNT versus GCW. It's 2 years back. Anyone that bought tickets then, they will honour that original ticket purchase at the original ticket price. This is amazing. Well done, guys. If you do have those original tickets, speak to info@wrestletravel.org with your details, and they'll convert them. So
yeah, this is why single tickets aren't available yet, because they want to make sure that they get through all of these guys who previously had tickets. So once they've organized that, then they can release how many singles. So right now, that's why they're only selling the weekend tickets. So I've seen some people on like, oh, why can't we get... There are reasons to things, people, okay? We can't just have everything all your time, all you want, right? Sometimes you just have to be patient.
Oh, but as Queen said, I want it all, I want it all, and I want it now.
I want it all. Don't do
Got
it in my head now. Got it.
Yay! ICW. Dylan Thorne will defend the ICW Zero-G Championship against the former champion, Daz Black, in a ladder match at Shug's Hoose Party. And that is on the 29th or 30th of July. We're not sure which one. At the O2 Academy in Glasgow. Plus, the ICW Heavyweight Championship will be on the line as Jack Chester challenges Kez Evans on the 30th of July. Is that another double-header show?
Yeah, another double show. It is their biggest show of the year, the old Shug's House Party. Hoose Party, sorry. Can't call it a house party. It's a Hoose Party. The Hoose and the Moose is loose. That was the wine gum advert, wasn't it?
There's a moose loose about this hoose.
Great match, Daz Black versus Dylan Thorne ladder match. That's going to be very exciting, very high-flying match. Of course, a lot of things have come off the back of ICW Bard, which is available now on the WWE Network, I believe.
Yeah. Now, I am super duper excited. You know how excited I was last week when it was announced that Doug Williams was going to be teaming with Harry Smith?
Yes.
For the NWA. Well, 1PW are bringing back the British Invasion. Nick Aldis and Doug Williams will be part of the new Twist of Fate on the 1st of October at the Doncaster Dome.
Yeah, huge. I think I can't remember who I was chatting to about in the comments. We'll talk about this because, we like to be fan interactive. So that's what we're going to do. One question was posed to me. Posed to us. I did answer myself. Lengthy little post. But the question was posed. Can 1PW depose Progress, Rev Pro UK, OTT, ICW? I think they're probably the agreed big four in the UK, right?
I'd say TNT over OTT.
Call it a top five then. We'll slide TNT Extreme in there as a fifth position. And you got companies like Brit Wres and Revolution who do great work. North, right on their asses, to be honest. They do some phenomenal. Of course, New Generation Wrestling's made its big return again. That's always been a huge promotion. So can they find a way to dig in? I remember one of the other people who replied to my things to talk about need for at least one more really big name for this show. And the name that he threw out there was Nick Aldis. So again, I'm not sure. I should go and find out. Let's find out who made these comments. But yeah, so he threw out Nick Aldis's name. So he is correct. It will be Nick Aldis. Yeah, that was the right one.
And while you're looking that up, on top of that, Will Cruz has been announced, which is brilliant news because he is a fantastic upcoming British wrestler, proper heavyweight, proper hard hitter. We love Will Cruz. Also announced already, got confirmation both Ace Austin and Alex Hammerstone will be part of the pre-show meet and greet fan slam. Yeah.
That's massive. Again, two huge names. Ace Austin has just won his first match in the Boss J as well. Best of the Super Juniors over in New Japan. He's made his first appearance for the promotion. Now, yes, it was Mark Lloyd out there. So, Mark Lloyd, thank you very much for replying to any comments. Just remember, guys, any like and comment really helps small producers on YouTube. Due to the way these algorithms work, the more interactions, the more likes, the more comments, and so forth. Even if you want to dislike the video, things like that, it's still counts. So if you don't agree with anything I've got to say, hit the dislike button. If you agree with what I say, hit that like button. If you don't like what I say, tell me about it, and I'll try and answer you. And we'll try and be as interactive. We'll post questions about the show coming off the back, like who you think and whatnot.
Now, talking about new big British companies,
and it was Heel Rules that posed the question, by the way. So thank you again, Heel's Rule.
Interesting one here. New company coming to the UK, Wrestling Entertainment Series.
I'm going to let you do this.
Thank you. The authors of I know why as well. The authors of Pain, Gzim Silmani and Sunny Dinza, formerly known as the authors of Pain, have launched their own wrestling promotion. Congratulations to them.
Were they Razor and Laser, weren't they?
No, they were Razor and something. Amon.
Blazer.
No. Stop being silly.
Sorry, lads. I'm just having a poke of fun. We're not being serious.
I'll tell you what. I hope you get invited along and get chops. Formerly known as the Authors of Pain, they've launched their own wrestling promotion, and they're going to debut in Nottingham. You see, they have listened. Thank you. They have listened to Gary Ward and learnt that Nottingham is the hotbed for new promotions in the UK. And they're going to be launching it on June the 4th, which is not long, really, when you're announcing a brand new company.
During progress.
Yeah.
They've literally, look, I'm not going to, I've learned my lesson for attacking a promotion before they've even got a chance to get themselves out the door, okay? 1PW, right, put me in my place when they push past well beyond my expectations, and I'm super happy. I don't mean to be bad about any company. I don't want any company to fail. I always want every company in their places to do well, except for that shit show we talked about at the beginning. I want them to go bust. But I don't want any new promotions to go back. I try to do my best to support all British promotions, which is why we talk about as many British promotions as we possibly can via our top stories and further roundups. But these guys
Hopefully
are trying
we will
to
have
run
time for this evening.
a 7,000 seat stadium.
Yeah.
7,000.
Well, 10,000 according to Tinternet.
I think by the time you put the ring and whatnot.
Either way, that's a lot of bums on seats.
It is. Now, again, what I like about what they're doing, what 1PW are doing, and which World Pro Wrestling are doing at one point, is they will be going live on Fight TV as well. Because I've always thought that this is something that's held both Rev Pro UK, Progress, and the others back, is the fact that they don't do live pay-per-views.
Yeah.
I think it's something that holds British wrestling back a little bit. But so it's great to see that. And look, I'm not going to... It seems like an ill thought out plan to try and do this in 3 weeks. Unless we don't know how long they've been planning this, though. They've been away from WWE for about a couple of years now.
Yeah, and
so they could have been putting things in place for the last 2 years. We do not know. I'm going to be trying not be as critical as I was when I was critical about 1PW. But 3 weeks notice, running the same weekend that your Super Strong Style 16.
Do you know what it's going to be? It's going to be a 5-star show.
Really is.
And if you know that, you know that.
It's going to be very difficult for them. I wish them all the best in the world, and they bound to have a bunch of contacts. Let's hope they're not in contact with the CYN guys. They do have a bunch.
Going to be there.
What's that? Sorry.
Paul Ellering is definitely going to be there as their manager, but he is the only name that I believe has been announced so far.
Yeah, apart from themselves, who are going to be back as a tag team. Obviously not as Authors of Pain, not as Razor and Blazer. But,
and just for a moment, they were a bloody good tag team. They really were. They worked well as a tag team. They were good, big, intimidating. They've got MMA background. They are sportsmen.
I didn't realise they were British guys either.
I didn't either.
No, I had no idea the guys were British. I literally thought they were Samoan. Yeah, I was well out of place. I don't think I was watching NXT at the time. I just kept seeing pictures of them and I just assumed. Bad on my assumptions. I apologize, lads.
Yeah. So good luck to them. Good luck to them. They have dates across Europe and the Middle East, and we shall see how it goes.
Yeah, no. Fair play to them. Good luck.
Right, Jonathan Gresham next.
Go to Jonathan Gresham. Yeah, carry on. Let's go.
Jonathan Gresham. Yes, he's going to be at Broken Rules for WXW on the 11th of June.
Yes, and he will be facing Coach Robert Dreisko, who, of course, he fought and defeated in the 16 Carat finals. So it's a rematch of the 16 Carat finals. They had a fantastic match at the 16 Carat Gold. So I'm sure they'll have a better match because obviously both of them had semi-final matches previously in the show. So I think it'll be a much better match. And then, of course, we also get Cara Noir versus Axel Tischer at the same show for the first time ever.
That is going to be amazing. I am really excited for that match.
And it does sound like the type of match that Walter, recently did with Cara Noir in WXW before going off to America. So could this be Cara Noir doing one of the swan song, if you like, for WXW before heading off?
This is going to sound horrible. It's not meant horribly. I don't care. I don't care why this match is happening. I just care this match is happening, and I want to see it.
It's going to be a great match, no doubt about it. That is on the 11th of June. Broken Rules. I'm still on WXW On Demand, so I will be watching it, and I'm still looking forward to hopefully getting over to see their World Tag Team Festival. Yeah. But let's talk about some people over in Japan right now.
I'm going to let you do this one.
Okay, so Chris Ridgway, of course, is currently applying his trade in pro wrestling Noah since the borders of Japan have finally opened themselves up to foreign talents again. So he recently, of course, won the tag team championships alongside the junior heavyweight tag team championships alongside Yoshinori Agawa. And the pair are now set to defend against Yoshioka Seikei and Suzumu Yua and Yoshioka Seikei, who are actually also members of the group Stinger, which Chris Ridgway and Yoshinori Agawa are part of. And after a 10-man match against the Noah Junior Army.
10.
A couple of weeks. That for a while. It was a little while back. It was a couple of shows back now. After the match where Stinger picked up the victory, Seikei and Yuya attacked Chris Ridgway and Agawa. So now, and then they basically said that they want the tag team championships. So on 21st of May at Dream 2022 final, it will be Chris Ridgway and Yoshinori Agawa versus Yoshioka Seikei and Suzumu Yuya. And it will be an explosive, fantastic match. There was a singles match on their last show between Chris Ridgway and Seikei, and it was a very good match in which Chris Ridgway picked up the win via pinfall. So Ridgway they have the edge right now.
Awesome. All right. Chris Brooks and Masahiro Takanashi will be defending the tag team championships against Mal and Asuka on the 22nd of May.
And yeah, that's DDT, the KOD King of Division Tag Team Championships. So this will be a really fun match. I've been watching Chris Brooks and Takanashi against Mao and Suzuma, and it was just ridiculous. It was funny.
Now, someone who we've been talking about for a long time, who we've been saying is going to have a breakout international year, is going to have a breakout international year. Who is it, Andy?
It is Riho. She is on her way to Japan. She will be joining up with Tokyo Joshi Pro as part of the relationship that they have with Pro Wrestling Eve. Although I'm sure Chris Ridgway put in a good word while he's been over there in Japan. So she is heading out there for their Spring Tours show on the 29th of May. And there was one other date. But yeah, so good lads. It's going to be an absolute fantastic. I can't wait for the match against Yamashita, Rio versus Yamashita, just kicking the crap out of each other.
That should be good. And if you would like to watch Riho in Japan, how can you do that?
Well, we don't get paid for this one, by the way. So, but yeah, if you want to catch all of this, actually, Chris Ridgway and Chris Brooks and what Rio is doing, you should get the Wrestle Universe app. And the Wrestle Universe app right now is offering a 2-week free trial. So if you actually time this right, you could literally watch Rio in Tokyo Joshi Pro, the Chris Ridgway matches, the Chris Brooks matches for free. And then you can make a decision of whether you want to keep it or not. I personally love my Wrestle Universe, and I've just been very much enjoying Noah and Chris Ridgway, seeing how he's been getting on.
All right,
we'll continue to follow it.
That's the end of the news, isn't it?
Well, one last one. Francisco Akira picked up his win in the Boss J.
Congratulations to Francisco Akira.
He picked up the win over Show. Great match as well.
Sweet.
Awesome. Let's talk about NXT UK. I'll let you do that.
NXT
you may know, so I don't.
The 200th show of NXT UK. Woohoo! Thank you very much, Vince, for forgetting that we're there. We start off with a Dragunov versus Jordan Devlin promo announcing how this match is for the championship and the loser will leave NXT UK, and we've already spoiled that earlier. Smith and Carter then took on Gallus. Oliver Carter was a standout in this match, without doubt. He's great at the moment, isn't he?
He is, but you can't leave Smith out of the thing. His power comes into play so much, and it's the way they work together, but that power and that athleticism between the two. When I was thinking about who's out there right now who could challenge or rise up in the NXT UK roster, first name on my mind was Ashton Smith.
Rise up. Well, we've been saying they needed the crowds back, and they've got the crowds back, and the crowds are behind them. Joe Coffey hurt his knees on a backbreaker, but refused to give the tag to Mark and gets isolated. Mark finally got a hot tag after a long time. It was a long time, wasn't it, until he got that hot tag. Joe then demanded the tag back in while still ruined. Carter saved Smith from a definite pin, so there was a little bit of sort of more not nasty heel work, but just like protecting themselves from Smith and Carter, which probably shows they're going to protect themselves more when they finally get a chance at the belt. There was lots more fighting in a determined way from Smith and Carter, who hit the assisted moonsault, which was brilliant for the 1-2-3. Congratulations, Smith and Carter. Afterward, Gallus said, "It's okay, we're still together."
It's good.
It was a good match. A-Kid is backstage and basically said that he's going to take on Charlie Dempsey in a Heritage Cup rules match. I am happy. Are you happy?
I am, yeah. It's going to be a great match.
Yeah. We then had a big NXT Memories promo, which featured very heavily the Heritage Cup, which it should do, because that's one thing that makes NXT UK unique. So I'm glad they focused heavily on that. Amelia McKenzie then was speaking about Meiko Satomura, as usual, and was interrupted by Lash Legend, who has already just annoyed the living hell out of me, which is her job. So congratulations.
Yeah.
So McKenzie challenges her. Nina Samuels versus Ivy Nile. Now, I don't watch NXT. I have not seen Ivy Nile before. I would now watch NXT to see Ivy Nile. She reminded me of Kurt Angle. What would you say to that?
I'm not sure but I look at her and I go, damn, that girl is jacked.
Oh, God, yeah.
And she looks like a badass. That's all you need to know. She looked like a badass and she jacked. And,
she was very convincing, though. Her technical game was good. Very good. Nina Samuels was brilliant as usual. Nina Samuels was looking really jacked as well. I've said this the last couple of times we've seen her. Nina Samuels is in phenomenal shape.
Somebody who's always been so underrated on NXT UK. She could have easily been one of the top performers.
Well, they mentioned that she was in the first NXT UK as well. She was in the first night's show at number 1. So that shows that she has the longevity within the brand. Anyway, Ivy Nile won with a really interesting standing dragon sleeper reversal. Great move. Submission, fantastic, loved it. Damon Kemp was then interviewed, accepted Charles Samuel's challenge. I hope the match was better than the interviews. Now we have something that I loved, which I shouldn't have done. Dave Mastiff and Jack Stars took the piss out of the De Familia interviews that have been going on. They sat at the table with their glasses of champagne and a mop with a Charlie Dempsey face on it. This was a little bit close to the knuckle. This was it was great. It was the best thing that NXT have done as promos in a long time. I loved it. What did you think?
I found it strange to begin with. And then I was like, okay, so that's what they're doing. And then I was just like, meh.
Oh, it's only a myth for you.
It was only a myth for me.
Oh, I really, really enjoyed it. But I think it's probably because I've been moaning about the De Familia thing and they took the piss out of it the same way I would. Joe Coffey was interviewed saying he wasn't good enough and that Mark wasn't good enough. And he needs some time away. Bye, Gallus. Wild Boar and Eddie Dennis. There was a video about them next. I'm looking forward to the match because it means it's the end of the issues between them. Kenny Williams was then backstage. I liked this because Kenny Williams came across as crazy, which is what he has been doing, but he kept saying, why is no one else seeing this? And we know why we think that that's an important thing when he's moaning about Tiger Turan. I think this is good videos and this keeps the storyline going.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with that.
Dragunov versus Devlin.
I finally got interested again around here.
I put that this was a 30-minute match done in 15 minutes. It
did feel quick, yeah.
It was jammed in. Big strikes from both men to start. Well, one man and one wanker. Wow, the knee breaker on the top, the neck breaker rather, on the top turnbuckle.
The brainbuster.
Yeah. God damn.
Gosh, yeah, that was good. That was very, very good.
Also, credit to Devlin for that Spanish fly off clothesline. Stunning. Very impressive. Still a wanker. Dragunov has to fight from underneath again, and this is what's bugging me about Dragunov's reign. He has to fight from underneath in a way that's becoming, I'm not going to say boring because I like the matches, but predictable.
Yeah.
And I don't like blatantly predictable, which is what his matches are becoming, in my opinion.
Well, it's because they haven't quite got him a challenge yet, a real challenge, or anyone who Devlin, I wasn't quite buying that Devlin was going to be the man to dethrone him.
No. Well, just going off topic for a second, it's been announced that Rampage is wrestling for an indie company, which means it would appear he's getting healthy now. So hopefully Rampage is back and give him a good challenge.
You see that one? Who's he been announced for?
I can't remember. There's somebody up north. I'll have a look. Have a look while I finish doing this. Big Torpedo Moscow from the second rope. But then was hit with the Devlin's side. Devlin gets the 1, 2, 3. Oh my God, Dragunov is gone. But no, out comes Johnny Saint and points out that Dragunov's foot was on the ropes. Phew. Dragunov was then dragged up and they exchanged headbutts and then went for a Torpedo Moscow. The Devil inside again. And a brainbuster. 1, 2. How the hell did he kick out of that? And that is a good question. No one should have kicked out of the Devil inside followed by brainbuster. No one should have kicked out of that.
No.
However, Dragunov did hit a massive Torpedo Moscow for the 1, 2, 3. Bye-bye, Jordan Devlin. I really enjoyed the show. I thought it was very good. I enjoyed the matches. I am going to give, for the first time in a long time, 3.5 sugars to NXT UK.
Right. Now, yeah, okay. So the first person I thought it possibly would be New Generation Wrestling. Well,
Not found it yet.
No, that's from
What
last
did you want to
year.
give to the NXT UK this week?
3 sugars.
Yay! And that is definitely the highest score they have had from us in a long ass time. So yes, well done. So we're going to move on to our top picks while the pair of us try and find out where it is Rampage Brown is going to be wrestling, which is quite exciting, really.
Indeed.
But yeah, I definitely 100% saw that he was going to be out and about in the UK.
Be great to see him back in the UK, and of course making his NXT UK return, would be absolutely fantastic. But yeah, I haven't seen it yet, but interesting. We'll find out more. I would have thought maybe New Generation Wrestling, because I know he had a long history with New Gen, but I can't see anything there. But very, very interesting. I've got some breaking news.
Have you?
Yeah, some breaking news.
Tell me
Wrestle
more.
Carnival have announced their anniversary show, which will be on the 7th of August. And find out who their new friends are.
New friends?
1 year at Carnival, yes.
I wonder if they're close friends.
I wonder if they're close friends with some friends. That's all it says. And who are our new friends? My money, Noah.
Oh, don't get me overexcited.
Just thinking of who's over there right now and his connections. I don't know.
Yeah.
But that is absolutely yeah, love this. Hopefully it all goes fantastically well. It's going to be in Nottingham. You can find out who the new friends are going to be next week on May 22nd. We'll be previewing their show in just short while. In fact, let's get on to some previews.
Let's. Do you want to
start? What is it? Friday the 20th of May. You can go to Fight Factory in Dublin for their episode 17 matches like Debbie Keitel versus LJ Cleary, Lycos Jim versus the Saviors of Destiny, and Fabio versus Terry Thatcher.
Main event wrestling. We have got Purely Belter. Love it. Newcastle, Adam Maxted versus Paddy Griffin. Shreddy versus HG Drake, Liam Slater and Leon Slater, Liam and Leon versus the Cosplay Kings and more.
Indeed. Well, you got Saturday. Our picks of the bunch are Good Wrestling with This Is Fine, which is in Milton Keynes. You got Gene Munny versus Warren Banks, Hustle Malone and Chantel Jordan versus Lycos Jim, and Mad Kurt versus Gideon Gray, and many, many more fun matches.
Yeah, Mad Kurt versus Gideon Gray is going to be amazing. Pro Wrestling East, Wrestle Bunch at Ely in Cambridgeshire. Mad Kurt versus Manlake Doris. Lana Austin versus Charlie Morgan. Simon Miller versus Truman Broswell. That'll be a banger. CJ Carter versus RJC again. And Mariah May versus Kelly Van Ness. And more.
Yeah, there's a huge lineup for that Pro Wrestling East show, like 8 matches. Wrestle Carnival on the 22nd of May are in Nottingham. It is The Hunt. And you can go check out my preview. It'll be out this week on the Wrestle Carnival. Myself and Jonas go through all of these matches in great detail. You've got Giles Crowley versus Max the Impaler for the Carnival Championship. Royal Aces versus Ivy and Alexis Falcon. Pure Beef versus Nathan Cruz and Miles Kamen. Debbie Dharma versus Emerson Jane. Riley Nova versus Joseph Connors. Student versus master match. Brady Phillips versus Warren Banks, which is a match I'm super excited to see. Dead Boys, Dead Sad Boys, sorry, not Dead Boys, Dead Sad Boys will be facing off against Big Man Inc., which is Jackie T and Adam Bolt. The Dead Sad Boys, of course, are Billy Hayes and Jason Joshua, and we will be talking to Billy Hayes next week,
Yes,
and it will be available later next week. Matt Lighteries versus Tommy Kyle, and then Joe Hendry versus Ian Skinner versus Joe Hendry's student, Judas Gray.
That is going to be rather good. Rev Pro UK on Sunday. Will Ospreay versus Minoru Suzuki. Alex Windsor versus Kylie Ray. Love Kylie Ray. Michael Oku versus Connor Mills. Aussie Open versus the Velocities. Luke Jacobs versus Robbie X. A 2 out of 3 falls match. And RKJ versus Jeff Bloody Cobb.
And that is why the show is called Epic Encounters, and it will be at York Hall. TNT Extreme Wrestling's TNT Ignition show breakout? No, Aftershock. Sorry. TNT Ignition Aftershock. It is Hustle Malone versus Ethan Kelly in the VIP match. Big Guns Joe versus Simon Miller as their rivalry finally gets them one-on-one in the ring. MVK Valgabius versus Isaac North in a KO or submissions match only. Shreddy versus RPD. Sonny Durson versus Tate Mayfair. Gia Adams versus Ava White. And Cameron Solis defends his Ignition Championship against Sam Bailey of the Mancunians. Oh, I believe we lost Daniel for briefly. So I will carry on. As I say, spoiled for choice on that Sunday. 3 amazing shows, Wrestle Carnival, Rev Pro UK, and TNT Extreme. You've also got like North, Mid, and South there. So great combination. But on Tuesday, the 24th of May, you've got Modern Nomad Pro Wrestling. It is Tuesday Night Graps 4. It is the Frog and Bucket in Manchester. Northwest Strong members Scott Overman and 2-Bit will be taking on the Lycos Gym team of Kid Lycos and Nico Angelo. Lee Hunter will be facing off against Alex Windsor, and Dan Maloney versus Luke Jacobs, and so much more. We know what Tuesday Night Traps can be like. Apparently, I am by myself right now. I'm sure Dan will be back shortly, but let's get on to the further roundup. This is something I really wanted to talk to with Dan, so I'm going to save this one. I'm going to move on to the next story, which is Riot Cabaret Wrestling in London. They've made some more roster announcements ahead of their debut show, the grand opening on the 28th of March. These include Rio O'Reilly, Sky Smithson, Laura DiMatteo, and Mariah May. Laura DiMatteo. Just, because I know we're missing Dan, so I thought I'd sing it. Sovereign Pro Wrestling. This is another big one. We've got the King. RJ Singh will be in action at Soft Pro's first reign on the 1st of October. He is set to face off against the Pain Baker, Benjamin Black. Plus, big man Yeston Reese has been added to the Crown Cup, as has Big Guns Joe. So it is now Yeston Reese versus Big Guns Joe versus Kid Bandit versus Ian Skinner versus Simon Miller versus HD Drake versus Smashing Mike in the Crown Cup elimination match. Are you with me yet? No, he's still not with me. I'm going to carry on. North Wrestling NCL. Congratulations to Liam Slater. He finally became the North Wrestling champion. He will now be defending his championship against Joseph Connors at the Sheffield show on the 29th of May. That show is already sold out. Consecutive back-to-back 8 shows now North Wrestling have sold out, and their anniversary show, the 6th anniversary show that is coming up just in a short while, they have also is 50% sold out already. So if you want to go see Scott Garland and the old former Scotty Too Hottie, he will be get your tickets soon. It is 50% sold out already. On to Odyssey Pro Wrestling in Morecambe. They've added a triple threat matchup to the card of Mutiny, which is on the 18th of June in Morecambe. It is Big Guns Joe versus Kev Lloyd versus J.J. Webb as a triple threat action. Odyssey Pro Wrestling's Mutiny, 18th of June in Morecambe. Art of Combat are back for their second show. And that is in Stafford, and it is You Should Have Known, and involved you will see Charles Crowley, Nico Angelo, Rio, and Brendan White will be in action. Of course, Charles Crowley was originally part of Art of Combat's first show, but was drafted in to be part of the WXW showcase show for Wrestle Carnival. So good to see that he is making his Art of Combat return after that impassionate promo he gave back quite a few months ago. Of course, when Art of Combat first announced themselves, he had to he gave that impassioned promo, he got put on the card, and then of course went to defend the the Wrestle Carnival Championship at WXW. Welcome back, Dan. How are you doing?
Great, but we have an electrical storm here, so my Wi-Fi has gone down in the house, and I'm having to join via my phone, hence the different background.
Wow. Yes, I noticed, of course. We are on Art of Combat, but I'm going to go back up to something I wanted to discuss with you, because I'm excited for this, of course. Senshi Kingdom, who are going to be a brand new promotion coming into the Northeast, which is where I am here in the Northeast. So Senshi Kingdom, and they're going to be looking to do something just a little bit different. They've introduced their own set of rules, one of which is matches only end via KO or submission. There are no pinfalls. There are 10-minute time limits as well. And going back to the pure rules, things like no closed fist. Of course, that was actually always a wrestling rule. You've never supposed to be able to have a closed fist. It's been a rule for so long. It's just long forgotten. No knees to the head. Knees to the body are legal. No eye gouge, no groin shots, of course. A strike can occur to a grounded opponent if the striker is still standing. If both competitors are at ground level, there are no strikes. Grappling and submission are encouraged from this position. Failure to adhere to the rules will result in one warning. If you continued, competitor would be disqualified. Wins are, as I say, via KO or submission only. There are no pins. Referee stoppages can occur at any time, and they can also institute a 10 count on a grounded opponent. A failure to get to their feet during the 10 count will bring their match to the end. What do you think of this, Dan?
I think it sounds brilliant. I think any kind of variety and anything that makes you stand out can only be good. And I know that you are going to be overexcited for this one.
Yeah, it's definitely something I'm very much interested in. I know they've got a seminar coming up as well, and this is a great place if you're looking to learn. Kev Lloyd is going to be one half of the coaching team there, so I'm really happy to see that Kev Lloyd's involved in this project as a true catch wrestler. Catch as catch can, if you like. And as I say, they got, where is it? I must admit, when I've fantasy thought of my own wrestling companies, I have thought of rules similar to this kind of thing.
We ever did a company together, we'd have a very interesting rules-led death match. It's got to be done.
I thought of something that could kind of incorporate kind of like the pure as well as UK heritage as well, and actually the German catch style. So thinking of a almost very similar, where matches would be only stopped via pinfalls or submission. There would be 3 rounds. Each round would be 5 minutes. There would be no closed fists and all the type of pure rules, such as rope breaks as well. You would only be allowed 3 rope breaks. But one of my things which would be different to this one is during the pinfalls can still happen. They do not stop the match, though. They don't even bring a round to an end. They bring a timeout where competitors are then brought back to their corners. And therefore, if the match goes 15 minutes with no KO or submission, whoever has the most pinfalls would actually go on to win the match. If the pinfalls were a thing, there would be a 5-minute sudden death match where the first person's back to touch the floor would lose.
A sudden death match? You mean they rush out the barbed wire and the pins?
Yes, they don't know. Well, sudden death, as in literally the first person to be grounded would lose the match. So the first person to have their back to the ground would be the loser in a sudden death period. What do you think of my rules?
I think they're complicated, but would lead to interesting matches if you like that style of wrestling. And I think that the problem is wrestling by default is a 3-ring circus. Okay? If you don't like the clowns, you got the lion tamers. If you don't like the lion tamers, you got the acrobats. I think that
this was my issue, is I like tag team wrestling, and I realized I cannot have a tag team wrestling because there's no way to create rules unless it was just it couldn't work for tag team wrestling. But I like the idea of this, certainly as a one-off tournament.
Yeah. Well, speaking of which, you'll like Sacrifice Pro even more. They have ring ropes.
They have ring, yeah, there we go. But yeah, I think I really like the idea of this for Senshi Kingdom, and strikers, grapplers, martial artists. This is something I'm very, very, very much interested on. We are now on Black Country Championship Wrestling.
Are we indeed? Good grief, wonderful. Two huge competitor announcements for Black Country Championship Wrestling. Send her victorious.
Send her victorious!
LJ Cleary makes his debut, as well as Yestin Reese, who will also be making his debut. That's 2 big debuts, and they will be debuting in Tipton.
Indeed, on the 10th of June at Send Her Victorious. LJ Cleary, Yestin Reese, as you say, big names, big guy.
Yeah.
British Championship Wrestling, BCW, have announced that that Lizzie Evo, Doug Williams, and BCW heavyweight champion BT Gunn have all signed up to appear at their No Blood, No Sympathy on the 10th of December in Kilmarnock.
Coliseum Wrestling, or another brand new promotion. Where are they, Andy?
They're going to be in London. Yes, and they've announced a few more people. So if you go through the names, and I'll then tell you who else has been announced.
Well, the names that I've got at the moment here for the 16th of July in London are Yestin Reese, Theodorus, Sheik El Sham, Doug Williams, Joel Redman, Kira Chimera, Ink Alice, Ronnie Knox, and Nadia Sapphire. Who else have you got?
See, I'm already loving the roster because, one, I want to see Doris versus Joel Redman. That's going to be a cracking wrestling match. Theodorus versus Joel Redman. Great, always great to see Alison getting bookings in the UK. She's a phenomenal talent coming out of Sweden and the Scandi Graps movement. But also added to the roster are LA Taylor, Shreddy, Leighton Buzzard, and all 3 members of the 8-7, Warren Banks, Roy Johnson, and Alexander Roth.
Oh, that sounds really, really, really good.
It's a good roster. Yeah, I'm keeping a close eye on this one. Really, I am.
It's the first time Shreddy's going to have headed down south, isn't it?
Yeah, Shreddy coming down south, but you got a lot of them coming down. Theodorus, Leighton Buzzard. So I like the Shake. Yeah, there seems to be a real connection here between North and South, and I like that. And good luck to Coliseum Pro. As I say, we will be keeping our eye on everything you are doing. Win Wrestling.
The PWX Championship will be on the line at Win Wrestling's Multi-Nation Madness.
So PWS are Pro Wrestling Express. The promotion is based in Pittsburgh. Their champion, the PWX champion, is TJ Skies. Good luck to the lad. Good to see a nice little connection there. A couple of an American independent and a UK independent. Let's see if there's some sort of partnership to be made there.
Of course, but the question: who will he be defending against?
Very possible. The other names that are going to be there are Warren Banks, CJ Carter, David Grant, Mia Cortez, or the current win champion, Bagheera.
Yeah. Pro Wrestling Ambush. 2 more matches have been announced and added, in fact, to Know the Drill on the May 28th show in Ely, Cambridge, including Chuck Mambo versus Mike Bird. And who will have the... Oh, Mike Bird's going to have the Droogs in his corner. Oh, that's exciting.
The
and also,
Drogs. Is it the Droogs
Jacob,
or the Drogs?
Droogs are from Clockwork Orange, so I'm guessing Droogs.
Okay, I was thinking Drogs as in troglodytes.
I'm going with Droogs.
Let us know. Reach out to us.
Yes, tell us why we're wrong. And Jack Kent and Jake O'Grady will also be there. They are the Droogs. Plus, Spike Trevay and RJ Singh will be in action.
That's a match I want to see.
Yeah.
Simple. Well, it's plain and simple. Ulmo Pro Wrestling, Big League Wrestling. Scott Garland will be at Big League Wrestling one night only. He'll be facing off against Eddie Ryan at the Corn Exchange in Devon. Also in action are Mariah May, L.A. Taylor, Lucian Phillips, Adam Maxted, and more. Old Scotty Toy, he's getting around, isn't he, while he's here?
Phenomenal Elite Wrestling. 2 matches have been added to PW's Jubilee on 4th of June in Stafford. It's not in Stafford, it's in
Stratford-upon-Avon.
Thank you. I need to know that because they have got an amazing sound guy who's going to be there. I'll talk about it in a minute. The matches announced are Eddie Ryan versus Big Jim Diehard and Harley Hudson versus my favourite, Laurie. In other PW news, Lance Rivera has been suspended after he assaulted ring announcer Ben Cecil. A completely unexpected assault. It was vicious, heinous, and nasty.
No, this is an outrage, an absolute outrage. How dare they? Do they know who Lance Rivera is? He is the Playboy Prince.
Yes, I spoke to him after his match, and he did comment on it. I'll be doing the same.
You've been having a word, haven't you?
I couldn't possibly comment. I will be
talking to management behind people's back. I'm going to have a word with Jesse. That's what I'm going to do.
I think we should talk to Jesse ahead of this.
What's that?
I think we should talk to Jesse ahead of this.
I think so too. I think it'd be great to have her on. And what were you saying about the massive sound guy?
They've got a fantastic new sound guy. He's 6'3", built like a brick outhouse, and has an incredible sense of musical talent.
But it is June 4th.
Oh, it's all right. I'm DJing in the morning and then going over in the afternoon.
Not doing progress.
No.
But we'll talk about it afterwards. Where are we? Phenomenal Elite Wrestling. UKPW Interregional Champion Danny Black will be teaming up with Sapphire Reed as he faces the #1 contender for his Interregional Championship, which is just Joe Lambo and his partner, Rhea O'Reilly. And this is going to be at Medway Night Raw. Raw is in ROA. Not RE. Yeah. But Medway, it is the brawl at the mall, and this is 7 p.m. at the Pentagon Center in Chatham.
Hey, Pro Wrestling Chaos. It will be chaos once again at the King's Oak Academy. At Pro Wrestling Chaos returns with organized chaos. Very impressive. Danny Jones, Yota Tsuji, the Smoking Aces, Tate Mayfairs, Ava White, and Harley Hudson will all be in action. Your chance to see Yota Tsuji. Jump on it.
Indeed. Nice to see Tsuji gets bookings outside of Rev Pro UK. Obviously, I know they have good connections, considering it's Danny Jones and the guys. Kamikaze Pro Wrestling will be celebrating their 9th anniversary. That's on the 25th of June, and they have announced that Chuck Mambo will be challenging Sean Custom for the Kamikaze Pro Championship.
Go Chuck! Go Chuck! Do you have some quick European news?
Why not? While we're at it, I'll start with the Hungarian Wrestling Championship, which is the HCW. There's a triple threat action, women's action as well, because Heidi Katrina will be making her debut against Iva Koloski and Morrissey. I've seen a bit about both of these. Iva Koloski, very, very athletic, very, very high flyer. Morrissey, tough girl, but Heidi Katrina is... well, she's a Terminator, I think, or an Amazon, one of the two. Plus, there will be one of Hungarian's top stars, Icarus of the Arrows of Hungary, as he faces one of Hungary's fastest rising stars, Maverick, and what should be a really great match.
Rising Sun promotion in Italy. LJ Cleary returns to Rising Sun in Milan for their Flashes of the New Era on the 25th of June. Plus, Matt Disaster, Alessandro Coglioni, and Nico Everardi,
yes. WXW Germany. I told you we'd speak more about them. It is True Colors coming up very soon on the end of May, 29th of May. And it is Stephanie Mays and Fastline Mudo. They will be defending their recently won tag team champions against the former tag team champions, the Arrows of Hungary, but also against Rot and Flot. Should be a great match.
My turn for bad singing. I see your true color shine. I'll stop. Bodyzoy Wrestling.
Wait. I've got to mention WXW Shotgun Championship. There is no lottery anymore. Norman Harris did away with it, but the man who will be challenging Maggot for the WXW Shotgun Championship at True Colors on 29th of May is Hungarian superstar Peter Tihanye. This match is going to be absolutely fantastic. I'm so looking forward to it.
Yes, it will. I will do Bodyzoy. Maggot and Baby Allison will face Les Enfants Terribles in tag team action on the 5th anniversary show on the 25th of June.
Go on, Maggot. And L'Enfants, that is literally translated to terrible children.
L'Enfant Terrible.
L'Enfants, infants. Right. Rings of Europe, and our final story of the night is Laura Di Matteo. Laura Di Matteo. I did it earlier while you were off screen as well, because you weren't there to do it, so I did it for you.
Appreciated.
Indeed. She's heading to the Rings of Europe and their Summer Clash show on the 25th of June, which Jessica Orlando was announced for last week as well. This has been really long. I'm just looking at the time and I'm thinking, how is it that time?
It's been good, though. I'm not going to knock it. We have had a good show. We have covered some really interesting news. We've put important information where it's needed. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to leave you with the most important information of all, apart from to subscribe to our fantastic deal that you can get 2 weeks free on Powered 4 TV by using our code TPOD, TEAPOD. But the most important information that we're going to leave you with, ladies and gentlemen, is...
Don't feed the trolls.